Why me description. When was the last time you pressed the snooze button and a few minutes later the power went off? Were you late to work? Late for school? Did your day go so bad that you asked God for help? If you think your day was so bad, wait till you learn about Lenny. Lenny shares his worst 24 hours of experiences, and possibly he would be the unluckiest or the luckiest human being on this earth, shy of death. You thought your day went wrong? Wait to read about Lenny. This humble man passes through so much that nobody would believe it was real. Most would think it was a dream or Lenny's off his meds. Take some time and learn about his experiences in this mini story. Compare them to your own events of a very bad day. And please don't laugh at Lenny. He's already having another of those days. What kind of day are you having? Well, you're in luck. You could get a copy of Why Me by Nelson Nick, No C in the Nick, at Amazon.com or direct Kindle publishing. In a few seconds, you will hear about Lenny, and then you could compare your day to his day. Why Me by Nelson Nick. Hello everybody, my name's Lenny, and I'm an alcoholic, a narcoholic, a gambleaholic, and whatever else holic that exists. The group replied, Hi Lenny, hi Lenny, hi Lenny, hi Lenny. The following is Lenny's share. The alarm clock began ringing. Lenny pressed the snooze button. He would sleep another 9 minutes as Lenny doesn't actually get any more Z's. Last night, Lenny and his brother Brad had a few drinks. Too much few drinks. He glanced at the alarm clock. It was 5:25 and he had to go to work at 5. Lenny jumped out of the bed and crashed his right toe on the dresser. My toe, my toe, my toe. Oh, this is not good. He held his pain, groaning, jumping, and down on like the other floor was on fire. While holding his red big toe, he smiled. Cursing, he hopped to the bathroom and stubbed another toe. Oh, no way! Oh, not again! My toe, my toe, my toe! Again, jumping up and down, holding his left big toe. In a hurry, Lenny began urinating and brushing his teeth. He bent over to flush and his toothbrush slipped out with his false teeth into the rushing toilet. Lenny tried to catch them, but it was too late. Both were going round and round and round and round. He wasn't smiling. Both were going round and round and round, and he still wasn't smiling. Lenny took out the toothbrush and threw it in the trash. He entered the shower stall with his false teeth, turned our water on, grabbed the soap that slipped to the floor. Lenny bent to retrieve the soap and hit his head on the metal water outlet. Ouch! Oh, not again! He yelled, cursing and holding his head, thumping, thumping, thumping. He couldn't smile. After showering, washing his false teeth, and massaging his head, he got dressed and headed out the door. Lenny, a Lou Costello lookalike, walked halfway to the car, forgot his keys and turned back. Grabbed his keys from under a pile of 2 months of due bills and got into this rusty Volkswagen that he had. He tried the ignition, put it in reverse, drove backwards when the right side of the car began rising up and down, up and down, up and down. Lenny went to check, and just what he needed, a flat tire. He changed the tire, got cleaned up, and headed to his job. He began smiling a little bit again. With only 5 miles to arrive, Lenny was pulled over by the police. He asked the officer what was wrong, while stretching his head out the window, looking for the police that looked like a tree. The officer, a huge 6 foot 4 inch, 300-pound, all muscle-toned man explained, Lenny had run a red light. He was speeding 20 miles over the speed limit and left the rear tail light that was broken. Lenny gave the officer the registration and proof of insurance. The officer returned to his police car to write up the tickets. The officer returned to Lenny and asked Lenny to park his car over to the parking spaces to his right. Lenny asked, "Why?" The officer told him that his registration and insurance were expired. 2 more tickets. Lenny could not drive his car until the registration and the insurance was renewed. Lenny locked his car and walked the rest of the way to work. Finally, Lenny arrived at work. His newspaper stand was surrounded by firemen. The newsstand was made of wood and located on the corner of a busy financial area. Newspapers, magazines, candy, and everything else was up in flames. Firemen kept spraying water, extinguishing the rest of the fire. Lenny, a 5-foot chubby hubby, always smiling, 50-year-old man, approached the fire marshal and asked, "What happened?" The fire marshal explained, "Sir, the stand just went up, poof. The cigarette caused the fire." Lenny walked across the street with his head down, in disbelief to what was happening. No insurance to cover the damages. Everything's up in flames. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Lenny sat down on the sidewalk, observing the rest of the firemen finishing their job. After some time, Lenny noticed a cold feeling on his behind. He got up, looked over to his backside, when he noticed dog poop. Doo-doo! Doo-doo on my butt! Oh no, not this! What a smell! Lenny cleaned the best he could and flagged the taxi to take him home. During the trip home, he noticed a tow truck towing his car and passing them by. Lenny turned his head towards the rear window, watching his car go away with a very sad, disappointing expression. Suddenly, the taxi driver asked, "Hey man, do you smell that?" "Smell what?" asked Lenny. "You smell that, man." "I don't smell anything," said Lenny, avoiding the driver's attention. The driver lifted both feet, looking at his shoes for the smell, and found nothing. The driver, excited, said, "Hey man, it's not me, it's you." "What?" Lenny looking out the window, still avoiding the driver. "Oh man, it's not me, it's you. You smell like caca. You smell like caca." "Caca?" Lenny asked. "Yes man, caca. You smell like caca. Fuchi, pooey, no good. Check your shoes. You have caca under them, man." Lenny lifted both his legs up to the screen, showing his shoes to the driver. "See? No caca." The driver, confused, asked himself quietly, "Man, where's the caca coming from?" After paying for the taxi and arguing with the driver about the rear seat doo-doo poop smell, Lenny walked to the door, realizing it was open, devastated to see that his door at his house was way open, and devastated with the day's events. He entered his home quietly and found his furniture, TV, stereo, CDs, tables, and his favorite recliner were gone. Lenny yelled, "I was robbed! No, I was robbed!" He ran to the phone to call the police and couldn't. His phone was stolen too. Lenny walked to the middle of the empty living room and sat down on the floor, crossing his legs. He looked around, took a deep breath, looked up to the ceiling, and got hit on his head with the chandelier. Lenny slurred and said, "Why me? Why me? Why me?" Several hours later, his highly excited neighbor, Brad, found him lying on the floor. Brad tried to wake him up. He smacked Lenny's face several times, with no luck. Brad ran to the kitchen, took a glass of water, and poured it on Lenny's face. Lenny jumped, coughing, and spitting water all over, yelling, "What the hell are you trying to do? You trying to drown me? We did it! We did it! We won, you dummy! We did it!" Brad was so excited. Lenny didn't make any sense of his words. Lenny's head was continuously thumping. Boom, 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 boom. Finally, Brad yelled, "We won the lottery! We won the lottery! We won $50 million freaking dollars! We're rich! We're rich!" Brad continued to jump and dance with Lenny, side to side. A week ago, Brad and Lenny joined forces to invest their money to buy lottery tickets, and they went 50-50. The grand prize was $50 million or more. Lenny also sold lottery tickets at the newspaper stand. That was part of history, all burned up in flames. They had agreed to share the winnings 50-50 and travel around the world sunbathing on the beach of a tropical island with beautiful women, slurping piña coladas, eating 32-ounce juicy porterhouse steak, and the biggest lobster any human has ever seen. They talked about staying in the presidential suite of the Ritz-Carlton, looking over beautiful sceneries, while in the hot tub, slurping more piña coladas. They kept on and on and on, and the more you drink, the higher you get, and they kept on and on and on. Lenny stopped dancing with Brad, looked at him and said, "Brad, promise me one thing." "Sure, Lenny, what is it?" "Promise me that the first thing I do with the money is build a newspaper stand and give away as a gift." "But you have a newspaper stand downtown," Brad asked. "Nope, it burned down this morning." "What happened?" asked Brad. "There's another $20. Don't worry, okay? That's just another $20. Lenny seemed as if he were drunk, soothing his head from the chandelier.